What if I told you there was a guaranteed way to quit the 9 to 5 rat race and go full-time as an indie game developer? What if I told you you could make a full-time salary from your game without investing heavily into paid marketing? And what if I told you this works even if your game is getting less than 10 installs a day? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, if you think that, then maybe click onto the next funny cat compilation, because this isn't for your ears. But if you're sick and tired of eating shit from your boss and you have a burning desire to go all in on your game dev dream, stick around because this video might just change your life. Online, I'm usually known as that ASO guy, the guy who got millions of installs for his mobile games, all for free through App Store optimization, and then went on to sell his portfolio for a bucket load of cash. But recently, I discovered something profound. You see, I love creating games. And even after selling most of them, I decided to jump straight back in. It's like a drug for me. I can't get enough of it. I'm going to level with you here. When it comes to ASO, there's actually something that none of the online gurus are ever going to tell you. There's a tremendous amount of luck that goes into ranking your games well organically on the various app stores. Of course, when you follow all the best practices and create games that people actually want to play, that luck increases. But it's like creating the perfect storm. Everything needs to align at exactly the right time. Conversion rates, download velocity, retention, average daily sessions. There are so many moving parts that focusing on all of them is basically a full-time job. And the thought of recreating my past success, well, that seemed pretty daunting. So I tried a different approach. I thought, what if I stopped worrying about trying to get hundreds of plays a day into my games and just focus on keeping the few that actually showed up? And that's exactly what I did. I released a new game, forgot all about ASO, and just aimed to keep my players happy. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's nothing new, moron. Everyone knows high retention games make money more easily. So, what exactly was my approach to retaining these users? Because let's face it, just creating a good game isn't enough to move the needle anymore. And more importantly, what have my initial results been like? So, let me break it down for you in a few short words. I built a community. I learned the power of a player community from a game developer friend of mine. I saw the success of his mobile game, which is making multiple six figures a year organically. The craziest part, the game is only getting a trickle of downloads. At first, the numbers didn't make sense, but I started to dig deeper, and the success, apart from creating a really fun game, laid in his ability to create an engaging player community. This is something that most game developers neglect. They treat players like a commodity when they should be treating them as part of a community. If you build a fun game and someone enjoys playing it, they want to share that experience with like-minded people. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I decided to put the theory to the test. I built a simple game which took a couple of weeks, and for the first time, I didn't obsess about ASO. I just focused on building a community with the goal of nurturing that community. Things were slow in the first couple of weeks, but after some time, there were little murmurs in the chat as players started to connect. Then, after more time, I could see friendships starting to form that went well beyond just the game. Players were actually connecting on a personal level. And then something incredible started happening. The game revenue started rising, and after just a few short months, it's already on track to do $50,000 in annual recurring revenue from a simple game that took just a few weeks to build. And my goal is to grow it to six figures by the end of the year. I won't go in depth about the monetization because that's an entirely separate video, but for those who want to know real quickly, I monetize the game using skills tournaments. Basically, players enter tournaments where they compete for real cash. This is through head-to-head matches, as well as live events where multiple players can enter at once. And just for transparency, you can see here the revenue from head-to-head matches averages around $100 a day, and the live events bring in another $40 to $50 a day. Here's one live event I recently ran with a profit of $134, and that's just from a single event. And as for the installs, you can see it's barely getting 10 installs per day. Now, you might be asking, what type of community should I be running? And honestly, that all depends on the platforms you're familiar with and where your players naturally hang out. That could be Discord, it could be Facebook, it could be Reddit. The platform isn't necessarily the important part. The key takeaway is this: building a community around your game and nurturing that community is non-negotiable if you want to keep your players happy. Remember, a happy player is a retained player. And with rising user acquisition costs, this is exactly why the biggest studios are investing so heavily in community building. Look at Epic Games, for example. They didn't just build a game and advertise it. Fortnite's community literally became a growth engine. So, if you're really serious about quitting the 9-to-5 rat race, community building is definitely a skill you need to learn. You don't necessarily need thousands or even hundreds of thousands of players. You need to build something that makes the players you do have want to stick around. Because those players can become your community, and that community can become your growth engine. If you got some value from this video, please like and share the video and drop a comment so YouTube pushes this to more struggling game developers. I will see you in the next one. Stay motivated and peace out.